welcome back to Grandpa's Time. Hey grandkids, just out here doing a hike for my health and get ready for hunting season, and just thought I'd talk a little bit about questioning things. And you know, people will write books and get things to be accepted as that's how things are. They call it dogma. This is how things are. And anybody that tries to say anything different gets ridiculed. And the same text is in every textbook between, Maine and California. And I'm telling you grandkids to question that stuff sometimes, because the experts aren't always right. There was an archaeologist up in the Yukon Territory in Canada. It must have been 40 years ago. I was reading about recently. His name was Jacques Cinq-Mars, and he found these caves. I think they were called the Blue Caves. I'll put it here. He found these caves where he found bones and evidence of butchering of mammoth bones from 24,000 plus years ago. And everybody at the time said that's impossible because there was nothing before Clovis, which was about 13,000 years ago, and they thought that was the longest that the Americas had been populated, was during the Clovis era. They laughed at him, they ridiculed him when he tried to do talks. They pretty much made fun of him. And in 2017, a bunch of papers were released saying basically that he was right. And the common idea about things was wrong. So that's one example. That's a pretty big example. It's a big difference. And for 40 years, people didn't do any studies on something, and they basically ruined this guy's career. They took away his funding and basically just ruined his career, and all that time he was right. So don't be afraid to question something if you think it sounds funny to you or whatever. Commonly thought when I was a kid in 1898 all the natives were pacified, another quotation mark, and they were all on reservations. Well, I was reading this book about the Apache and how Geronimo did this last breakout from one of the reservations and how they hid a bunch of people up in the mountains. And I was like, well, I'd never heard this before, so I did a little more research and found a book called They Never Surrendered, which I did a book review on it here not too long ago. And I thought it was kind of interesting. These Apache were running raids into Mexico until at least 1935, but according to the history books, in 1898 they were all pacified. So again, that's another example of this doctrine or dogma that people put on things. Hopefully he's more interested in the flowers than me, but anyway, make your own path and believe, do your own research. Just, not everything you see and hear and read is always accurate. So anyway, thanks for watching. I got to finish this walk. I'm starting to cool off. Hope you can see it. Awful pretty today. Kind of cloudy, but still pretty.